I feel like there's been this tension that is rising, and it's almost like the turbulence that it's creating is about to fucking break whatever box we're in. And at the same time, I've been trying to offer the opportunity, not even offer, it's your time, but just encourage you and let you know that, like, hey, I'm going out and doing this with my friends. Why don't you go do something? And it feels like every time that I present that, it gets shut down.
Well, I don't want you to pick for me. Like,
I'm not trying to pick for you, though.
Well, you've presented the options of like what I could do, but at the end of the day, it's my life.
Welcome back to the Late Night Date Night podcast. And on today's episode, we're going to be talking about why Lizzie and I have been getting into so many fights recently, why we feel like we're trapped in a box, and what we're doing to let go of things that no longer serve us and move on into the next chapter of our life. So enjoy the episode. Why do you think we've been fighting so much recently?
I think that we're in an interesting place in life, or at least for myself, where I'm trying really hard to let go of some of these old ways of being and thinking, and trying to elevate myself into this new way of thinking and being. But there's times, in day-to-day life where I'm getting pulled back into those old ways. And they show up, as a mom, they show up in our relationship. And it's hard because I have the awareness of, those specific moments where I just need to do something differently or make a different choice. But sometimes it's just easier to make the choice that you have for your entire life up until this point. And so it's hard to break those habits, but I feel like it's been impacting our marriage and our life, and it's hard to move forward.
Where have you been noticing it the most? Like these old patterns, like, because you say that, and I felt it. Like last week I was out in Utah with my friends, and there's this old piece of me that feels, very just judged, very like on edge. The fact that I'm out of town, even though we've talked about me going out of town and having fun with my friends, and it's a good thing for me to do. There's a piece of me that every time I feel like I call home, like I'm nervous. And I'm not saying that's you creating that, but there is a piece of this old version of me that is held onto these past experiences that has me uncomfortable at times because of the shedding of this old ways of thinking, these old stories, these old beliefs. And that's where I've noticed it for me. I guess, like, where have you been noticing this? Because, like, I feel like there's been this tension that is rising, and it's almost like the turbulence that it's creating is about to fucking break whatever box we're in.
I think what I noticed for myself last week when you were traveling and out in Utah with friends was just some of, like, the frustrations coming back up again from last year, when you were traveling a bunch, of like, my gosh, I'm so annoyed, I'm so frustrated, I'm so angry that I have to solo parent yet again. It's hard because, when I am solo parenting, but just like in a normal day-to-day, like my day is kind of run by the little kids in this home, and that's fine. But it's hard when you want to build something for yourself, and it feels like it's just continually like interrupted, or you just can't find the time between all the other things that you're doing. And so when you leave, then it's like, okay, now I'm really not going to. And then like all these like old feelings of just like feeling frustrated and angry that you're gone, and feeling frustrated that I have to do this by myself again just resurface. Even though I'm like consciously aware of it, I want you to go out to Utah and have fun with your friends and travel and all that. I think it's just a pattern that I haven't fully broken yet.
I think for me it's confusing too, because I know that you want to build something. I know that you have this desire for a bigger purpose outside of being just a mom, which I think is incredible. Not only is it going to benefit the relationship, but it'll benefit you, and it'll benefit the boys because they get to see what a powerful woman looks like going and pursuing her dreams. And a couple, like our relationship, me supporting you so that one day when they get married they can support their wives. There's a lot of power in that. And yet at the same time, I'm in this place wondering why, whenever I go out on these trips or I go and do something, I understand that there's a certain level of stress and pressure and you having to rise to the occasion. And at the same time, I've been trying to offer the opportunity, not even offer, it's your time, but just encourage you and let you know that, like, hey, I'm going out and doing this with my friends. Why don't you go do something? And it feels like every time that I present that, it gets shut down.
Well, I don't want you to pick for me. Like you've
I'm not trying to
presented
pick for you, though.
Well, you've presented the options of like what I could do, but at the end of the day, it's my life, and like if you get to choose where you want to go, and you've traveled the last 27 weeks of last year and a handful of times this year already, like I want to have the ability to choose where I want to go.
And I want you to have that too. My question is, me encouraging you to go these places and you're like, hey, I don't want to go there. That's fine. You don't want to go to Vail? You don't want to go to these other places? I'm cool with that. Grand Lake, you don't want to go there? Where it gets confusing for me is I know that you want some time alone. I know that you want to go, or maybe it's time with friends or whatever it may be. Why not plan it so that you can get some time away from the kids and have some time to yourself when I've been like, hey, you just name the date and we'll make it work.
Yeah, I mean, I just have to take the time to plan it and figure out where I want to go.
And I get that piece. And then there's a part of it too where like when you don't go and we're here, your energy is gone because you're exhausted, right?
I am exhausted.
So then that has a direct impact on me, and it has a direct impact on the kids, and it has a direct impact on you. No different than when I'm burning the candle at both ends. And I burn out, it has a direct impact on everybody. We have to take a responsibility for ourselves to prioritize these moments and not wait till we're burnt out and things are burning to the ground. So why haven't we?
I did.
When?
When you came home, before you came home, Sunday morning, I texted you, or even Saturday night, I was like, I'm going to take the day for myself on Sunday.
Yeah,
and I did.
I get that.
But I can't leave.
No.
I can't leave. Like, okay, so you're going to come home from Utah and I'm immediately going to fly out to San Diego?
No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that I understand that you took Sunday off, and maybe I'm wrong. I believe that you deserve more time than 6 hours on a Sunday where you're running chores or doing whatever else you were doing and not being able to actually go out and have fun.
Yeah, I know.
So what I'm trying to encourage is if we're going to build this life and we get to dictate the rules, whatever it may be, then why can't we choose a weekend for you to go away to wherever it is that you want and enjoy some time for yourself while I solo parent?
We can.
So when are we going to do that though?
I just need the time to look and figure out where I want to go and research.
And I get that.
But my day starts at 6 a.m. and it doesn't end until 8:30 a.m. or 8:30 p.m. I take them to the gym for 2 hours. Half of that is travel time and getting to and from the bathroom and to daycare. And that's my time. I have like an hour and 15 minutes to get my workout in because they're a little bit longer right now. And then I try and post something real fast. I just feel like I don't have time. Like, and then I get up early and spend my morning time with God and journaling and all these things. Like anyone can always say that it's, I don't know, it's time. Like you always have time. Blah, 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 blah.
I mean, listen, people can say it, and then there's the reality of like what's going on. But there's also the conversation of me being like, hey, and I told you this, I will happily wake up early a few times a week so that you have more time to build something. Post on social media, build out content, research and do things. But what I also said is like, I'm not going to wake up early if you're not going to do those things. And so there has to be like I feel like some of the tension coming back to like what we were talking about, some of the tension that's kind of coming is that like we're trying to build this new life based off an old operating software. And the only way for us to build something new is to let go of what we have. So what are we going to let go of? We have to. There has to be something has to give, or else there's just going to be this, and I'm not trying to talk over you. There's going to be this constant just like, I don't have enough time. 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 And then that's how resentment builds. And before you know it, the path that we're going on to climb actually becomes the decline and the implosion.
Teeter-tottering, I feel like right now.
So, I mean, in your opinion, what do you think it is?
I think the hardest part when we're trying to build something and I'm trying to build whatever it is that I'm building is like I feel like there's no tangible thing. There's no tangible thing to be like, I'm going to go build a clothing business. I could, but that's not what I want to do. And like, I think I know what I want to do, but I also feel like I've been getting this message from God that like, I just need to focus on myself right now and like focus on the boys and be present with the boys and like document my journey as we go, and maybe that'll turn into something, you know, when the boys are a little bit older. Okay. But it's like, how do you Like, should I take time away to do that when you are actually building a business that has tangible results, with an income?
This is not my life. This is your decision. All I know is that if you're operating out of integrity with what you know you're supposed to do and what you're supposed to build, whatever that is, it has a direct impact on everybody.
Yeah.
No different than imagine if I had stayed in real estate. I knew that I was supposed to leave real estate. Imagine if I had stayed in real estate, operating completely out of integrity. It has a direct impact on you, has a direct impact on the boys. Yet one day God tapped me on the shoulder and say, hey, motherfucker, you're done. And so I left. And so I made this choice to listen to what I was being told. No different than the decision that I made when I left corporate America to go into real estate after being in a yoga class, laying on the ground in Shavasana, asking God, what do you want me to do? And with my eyes closed, drenched in sweat, with everybody doing that weird, breathing, I hear my grandfather say, just go do it. And in that moment, I made a decision and I walked into Wazi Digital the next day and I quit my job. I can't tell you what to do, but for you to want this tangible thing, that's you wanting something different than what you're being told to do.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I think part of me wanting to build something is just knowing that whatever I'm going to do with that time is going to be utilized towards whatever it is that I'm going to build. I have some sort of vision of what I want to build, and I know that I can take actionable steps to get there. It's just like trying to find the time,
Yeah, so here's what I want you to consider. When a farmer plants seeds, first he has to till the soil. He has to till all of the soil, and he's got to get rid of all of the weeds, the roots, the rocks, anything that's going to prevent those seeds from taking root. And there's this purification season in all of us. And the building phase looks a little bit different. Sometimes it's building something tangible. We have to remember, I started building something tangible after 7 years of creating content that nobody fucking watched. It's just you tilling the soil eventually, and then you're planting these seeds in it. And then it's being able to be comfortable and having faith that the seeds that you've planted will eventually take root and they will grow and they will sprout and they'll have their own gestational period and they'll turn into whatever they're supposed to turn into as long as you nurtured them. And so this isn't about you creating. Creating takes time to set up the cameras, get microphones on, and do all of it. Can you do that? Sure, 100%. But there's also the ability for you to simply just document. Hey, I'm planting flowers outside with my 2 little boys and I'm going to show people what it's like to do an activity with 2 toddlers. I'm going to the gym. I'm going to show you what I pack in my bag every single day so that I have everything I need for the kids. You know how many moms are running back and forth between the kitchen and the car trying to get ready to go to the gym because they forgot their left shoe inside and the bottle's still in the fridge and they have like half their sports bra on because they're still breastfeeding with their tits? You know that life.
Yeah.
But you don't have to set up a camera and create this scene. You're just living it. And so the seeds that you plant today in 3, 5, 7, 10, 12 months from now, or 3, 5, 7, 12 years from now will become the tangible thing that you're trying to build. The real question is, are you willing to till the soil?
I feel like I have.
I don't disagree.
It's just the ability to take it to the next step. Like, I feel like, I don't know, when you're new at something, things take you a little bit longer than it does for you that have been doing it for 7 years and whatnot. And so it takes me a long time to do like one task that you can do in like 5 minutes. And so like trying to find the time to actually create something and create the content that I want to share with the world about my life and what goes through my heart and my head and stuff, like it just takes a lot longer. And when my day starts at 6 a.m. with the kids and doesn't end until 8:30 p.m., like I am completely shot.
I bet.
I'm focused on my body and my nutrition and being present with them and trying to document what I can and mostly sharing stories. But like if I want to reach people too, I know that comes with like posting. And so
I agree.
I don't know.
And so the thing that I want you to look at is that what you're building right now is going to be different maybe than what you have in your mind. But this vision that we both have and the turbulence that we're feeling right now is because the vision that we've casted, for whatever reason, 17 million came into my heart. $17 million. That's the number that came in. This house in Ken Carroll Valley, right, with family and friends inside and kids in the backyard and these views of just nature that are like God's abundance. The Urus, the Raptor, the ability for me to give 10% back to people. My body at 175 pounds and 6% body fat, that's athletic. All of these are just visions of this thing that we want. A lot of times we have these seeds and these ideas that are planted in us. And then we have them become distractions. They distract us and make us think that shooting the podcast will never make the 17 million. Shooting the podcast will never lead to the home in Ken Carroll Valley or the amazing luxury vacations or the ability for us to show people what's possible when you just turn your life over to God and just walk in faith. Because it feels so like non-substantial. It feels like this isn't that big of a deal. That this is the thing. I understand where you're at when it feels like this thing that you want is so far away. But I watch you, every story, and the way that you're showing up, you're just chipping away and you're purifying yourself. And you're building the reps, because the reality is you only have capacity to do what you're doing right now. But, and there's a big but, if you can stay consistent daily, you will build more endurance than you can even fucking imagine.
I just want to be able to do more, because there's just more that I want to be. There's more that like comes to my mind and that I want to be able to like create and do and execute on. And I don't, but then I let myself down.
I know, listen, I know what it feels like to let yourself down.
Because I'm not staying true to myself and what my heart wants and like this purpose that I'm trying to chase. And so then I'm just stuck in like this old life and this old like,
I know.
Not to say that being with my kids is bad, but I want a greater purpose. They are my purpose. I love it. I want another greater purpose.
And I think that's beautiful. I think you should pursue it. And I'm all on board with you doing it. I remember last year when I would travel out to Dana Point and I would stay at Garrett's house. And I would pull up the very first day and I would have to hop the fence and take my suitcase across the street and get into his guest bedroom. I'd set up. And it was from that moment until Saturday morning at 8 a.m. when I left that it was nonstop. And I was watching all of these other people that I was leading, right? They were marketing and they were documenting and they were creating this content and they were gathering clients. And I'm sitting there just being like so frustrated because I was trying to hold space for everybody and coach from 7 a.m. until 7 p.m. 4 days in a row. And I had no time to just turn on my camera and document. And by the time I did, it was 7:30, but I've already said 1 million words that day. I've already dealt with people who are getting sexually abused or physically abused in their marriage or getting ready to file for divorce or they're getting ready to declare bankruptcy. And so I'm holding space for all of this and I couldn't document anything. And it felt like it felt like this. You ever been in a car where you're driving stick and the person doesn't know how to drive stick and it's like, right? You know what I'm talking about? That's what it felt like. It was like this stop, go. And I could never just get the momentum. But every time I could, even if it was just one story a day, just, hey, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm going through, and just like speak my soul, my heart to it. Inevitably, that led to everything that I'm starting to build now. Pressure and reps under tension where you feel like you have no time because it's just these small commitments to you. So your posts at the gym, your posts reading the Bible, your posts with the kids, you may feel like it's like it doesn't matter, but it does. It doesn't matter how small they are. The reality is, that is your purpose. It's just the beginning.
I just want to be able to like create and document in a way that like share posts and stuff. And like I have like this endless amount of like notes and different ideas in my notes app on my phone, but like I haven't executed on any of them.
Okay, so then why don't we get a babysitter for a day and then we go somewhere or you go somewhere and you just rip and then we upload it to the editors. If you need an editor, go check out Coda. They're great. We'll link them below because they're the ones who are editing this podcast. Rob. And you can just have content. And you can speak your soul and maybe it'll fill that.
It doesn't even need to be like fancy or anything.
If that's the case, then just rip it on your camera.
Yeah, I know.
When you're walking to the park, rip it. When you're in your car and you're driving, rip it. Walking out of the gym, rip it. When you're at the grocery store, rip it. When you're planting flowers, rip it. If kids scream, let them scream. You know how many moms are being like, oh my God, I can't believe my kid's screaming all the time. Let them scream in the background and then you still stay locked in, focused on what you're doing. Like, just be real. This is what people want to see. This is what I'm telling you. Air out your dirty shit. The fact that I've yelled at the kids. The fact that I've yelled at you in front of the kids. The fact that you and I have gotten into absurd fights. The fact that I've done drugs and alcohol and I slept around before. The fact that I was a money whore. All of these things. I don't give a fuck what people think. That's the thing that's actually holding you back.
Well, and I just feel like I need to be a better communicator, but I'm not going to become a better communicator if I never talk on camera.
It's like overweight people are like, I'm going to get in shape by reading about push-ups. It's like, that's not how it works.
I understand that. But it's just being able to deal with the chaos that's happening behind the scenes, but also stay locked in, but also still be a present mom. Like, it's so many things, and then keep the tangent going. And I know there's opportunities for me to just like turn on my camera and say something to like my stories and stuff, but I overthink it and I become fearful. And so I know that that's part of the work that I still just need to do, is just becoming like so steady. And
I don't even think it's steady. I don't even think it's steady at all. It's an opportunity for you to trust your own faith, to know that everything that you need to say is already inside you. You just have to get out of the way. That's it. You're just a conduit. If everything that you need to talk about is already inside of you. Kanye West talked about this in his documentary. Your responsibility as a creator, as an artist, is that when God speaks through you, you let it come out. You don't try and manipulate it. You don't try and control it. You just let it flow. That's it. This is why every time that I'm sober, right? Like, I'm not drinking, I'm not like eating mushrooms and smoking weed, which is very rare because weed's very confusing. I make more money than I've ever made in my life because I become a conduit. And this is why I feel like this pressure is building. This pressure is building because you know I'm going to build something big, and I want to do it with you. And I think you think that I'm expecting, and tell me if I'm wrong, you think that I'm expecting you to do all of these things and make it look pretty in post and do all of this stuff. Is that what you think I expect?
no, I don't care what you expect. I just want to be able to do it for myself.
Perfect, even better, because that's what I actually want. I don't care. I want you to say, hey, I'm going to do this, and then you do it even if it's ugly as shit.
I just want to do it more. I've said it a million times. I want to be able to do it more, but it's like, it's just hard. It's hard to find the time.
What is it? So you said the kids are your purpose. What is it about having a purpose outside of them that is pulling you so much?
Well, eventually they're not going to need me as much as they do right now. And my mom has always said, you need to do something for yourself, because your kids are going to grow up and they're going to leave and they're not going to be here anymore, and you're going to be stuck with yourself and with your husband. And you first, like, we better like each other, right? But then also, I better like me and like what I'm doing for my life. Like, I can't put full dependence on you once the kids leave, of like trying to make me happy. And like,
we are way past that.
Yeah, we're way past that. Like, I want to be able to do something that like lights my soul on fire, and that I can lead other women, and I can, I don't know, create this safe space for like women to find themselves again.
Okay.
And we can just connect at a deeper level, opposed to like these surface level relationships. Like, I'm not about that anymore.
Good.
And like, I want that purpose. I'm craving that like community so bad. And I do have it in a lot of ways. And I've had to realize that this week. Like, I have a lot of women that weren't in my life before now, and our relationship looks a lot different, but thank goodness for the power of like social media. But still, I want to be able to do more to reach more women. And it's just hard when you're a stay-at-home mom and you've got like 14-hour days, and by the end of the day, like, you're just crushed because...
Yeah, I get it. I mean, I don't get it and I get it. And so this purpose piece and this turbulence that we're feeling, yes, it can be environmental. I know for a fact that this is not the house we're supposed to be in. This container's too small. I know for a fact that the life that we're getting ready to step into is going to be much larger and have way more impact with the people that we love and the experiences that we get to have. And at the end of the day, the only way for us to truly break out of this box and build what eventually will just become another box is letting go of the things that no longer work. This game of perfection for you, because we've talked about it, and this game of control for me is something that we have to let go of. Mm-hmm. And for the long time, I built my real estate business out of hustle and grind. Mm-hmm. Control, 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 do more, do more, do more. And recently I've stepped into a very uncomfortable feeling. It's called peace. I don't know how to build from peace. I only know how to build in chaos. Chaos in my marriage, a chip on my shoulder to prove everybody like that they're wrong, like a big fuck you to everybody else. While that's super powerful to be able to build something when your marriage is falling apart and be able to use the chip and energy of anger to build, it's not going to allow me to build something long term, because inevitably I'll have to get angrier, and that's not who I want to be. And so building from peace for me is the ability to let go and trust that the seeds I'm planting now and the work that I'm doing now, the marketing daily on Instagram and Facebook, the websites and the funnels and the email campaigns, the podcasts, morning in the Bible, work, tracking my macros, spending time with my family, the vacations, all of it is leading to something bigger. But I'm trying to let go of the timelines. And that's hard. Where you're trying to do your thing, I'm over here being like, fuck, I'm not doing enough. And all I keep hearing is, slow down, trying to control again. Your identity being a production that you have to do more, it's coming back up. And it's like a nervous system reset, an operating system like that's just being placed inside of me, and the embodiment piece is hard.
Because the world basically defines your worth, or you can easily define your worth in just achievements.
Yeah.
And if you have this peace and calmness, it's like difficult to find achievement in just showing up and doing the daily tasks that you do.
And as you say that, I've finally just recently, I have fallen in love with the work. It's taken me a long time. I'm not going anywhere. There's no I already know there's no fucking destination that I'm going to get to and be like, I've made it. It's never going to happen. Not $1 million, not $10 million, not $100 million, none of it. Not this home, not a home in the valley, not a home in California, not a home in the mountains, not a home in Italy, none of it. Eventually, every 5-star vacation resort is going to look like every other 5-star vacation resort. So it really doesn't fucking matter. It's going to feel the exact same here. It's just going to be a different container. I already know that, which is why I'm trying to find happiness in just doing what I do. Like, I love doing this with you. I love sitting here and talking about it and getting all hyped up about shit and looking how pretty you look in your fruit punch dress. Looking like a hot Kool-Aid girl. You know what I'm talking about?
Yes. Love Kool-Aid.
But like I just realized, like, the journey is the gift. And the more I step into that, the less turbulence there is in my life.
The more I have been able to just like let go of trying to do more and try and do the things that I want to do, but then I can't do, the greater sense of like peace I've had, and like the less irritable I show up as a mom and a wife.
Yeah.
But
There's this book called The Way of the Superior Man. And one of the things that the author talks about is how a man's purpose is more important than any relationship he has in his life. That a man who doesn't have purpose will actually become a dangerous man to everybody that he loves. Because he'll become a shell of himself. He'll become angry, he'll become resentful, and he'll blame. This is why I protect this thing at so much cost. It's not that I put it above you, but it's without it, we're fucked. And what I'm hearing coming from you is like, there's also this piece of you that you want purpose, and this purpose that you have right now is the boys. And I almost look at it like a sliding scale. Like 10% is your actual purpose, the other purpose that you're trying to build, and 90% is the boys. And then as they get older, your purpose grows, and their time with them decreases. So right now you're just building the foundation. Coming back to the original question, why do you think we're fighting so much?
I think we just answered it. Know that there's a greater, better version of myself that doesn't live in fear and isn't guided by perfectionism.
The reality is we're not fighting each other. We're fighting ourselves, and we're fighting for this thing that we both want. And sometimes when we get, at least for me, when I get frustrated with myself, it can come out on you guys. Not that that's right, it's just the reality of it. And I think the same thing happens to you. When we say we're going to do something and then we're out of integrity, we get frustrated.
Yeah.
This is why when I would say that I was doing stuff in my job and I wasn't actually in control of myself, I would come up and try to control you.
It's challenging to live in that space when like it feels like you're not living up to your purpose. But maybe I just need to reframe how I'm judging or evaluating myself.
As a perfectionist, I'm sure that's hard because you want it to be exactly the way you want it.
Well, I just want to follow through on some things that I just can't.
So what if you
Or don't.
What if you adjusted whatever those things are? That's what I tell my guys. Like, guys are dumb as shit. They'll come in and they'll start to do the work, and they'll think that in 6 weeks, coming into the standard sequence in my program, that in 6 weeks their marriage is going to be perfect. I'm like, bro, you've been an asshole for 10 fucking years. You have some debt you have to pay off. And so they'll go from being like, oh, I'm going to do these little things, taking care of myself, to like, oh, I'm going to go run an ultra marathon. I'm like, whoa. We already know you're going to fail if you try to go from 0 to 100. Why don't we just chip away and build some new habits first at like 1 to 5? Then once you nail those things, then we can go from 1 to 10. And it's all about just like, in the beginning, just building the habits.
If you say so.
What do you mean?
So then just like show up and in the morning for my devotional and quiet time and journal time that's almost always interrupted and have my day with the boys, go work out, do my normal routine, and shut it down for the night.
Yeah, shoot three or four story posts a day. And then once that just becomes easy, then we can add in a post a day.
It is easy.
Okay, cool. Well, then add in one other thing that's going to be challenging. Maybe it's a live a week. You did a live and it was great. Why not just get off this thing and rip a live? I mean, your voice is already warmed up. We're already primed and ready to go. Why not?
Okay.
You just have to make a commitment to yourself. For you. Not for the boys, not for me, not for anybody who's watching this or not watching this. Because Lizzie made a promise to herself and Lizzie wants to follow through on that. That's all that matters.
Yeah, I know, but...
But what?
So then maybe the promises are just too big because I can't follow through on some of my promises.
Well, what are the promises that you're not following through on?
Like talk to the camera or do a live or create this post that's been sitting in my drafts for the last 10 days.
Okay. Can you do one of those?
Yeah.
Okay, so then do one. You're going to get your nails done after this, right? Plop your camera on the thing in your car, that little nifty gadget you have, and go live. And just talk about where you're at. The more that we talk, the more I realize you and I are very, very similar. We want to know the how. How is this going to work?
No, that's me, according to our
That's
personality
also
thing.
me too.
You're the visionary. You're like, I have this thing, we're going to do it, like the 17 million and all that.
Yeah, okay, listen. Let's be very honest about this. This is I've stepped into a new realm of operating. That's the thing. Cool, I'm going to let it go. Before, I couldn't even think about the thing. I didn't even know how to dream. And the majority of the time, I'm like, even in real estate, I would have a big year, and the next year, I'm like, how am I going to do this? How? You try to make decisions 12 months from now based off the data that you have in the first week of January, only to come in May, and all of a sudden, everything that you had planned for is completely fucking gone out the window because all the data, all the information, all the experiences have changed. That's why the only thing you can control is right now. Don't worry about how it's going to happen. Just worry about what you can control right now. You seem like you're shutting down.
No, yeah.
No, what's up?
Gotta continue to do what I'm doing then. Trust it'll work out.
Does that not sit well with you?
No, it does. It's just hard to.
What's hard?
It's hard to just let go and trust and have faith that it'll work out and I'll have the time and whatnot.
You read this book every morning?
Yeah, I do.
What do you think this is about?
Trust and faith.
And letting go. So in those moments where you feel like you don't know how to do it, come back to this and read this and study it and be with it and ask yourself, what do I need to let go of? What do I need to let go of control of? That's the whole game of walking in faith.
Yeah, I know it is.
If we could see it, then we would go after it. The real question is, can you take what has been given to us and trust that it's going to work out as long as you do the work? Because the thing is, you're doing the work.
Sometimes it just doesn't seem like the work, you know?
Okay, so then this is dragging out a little bit, but what would be what would be the work?
Sometimes it just doesn't seem like it. Like, go build a website. Or
go build a website.
Go figure out what your program looks like. Or go get certified in this sort of training, you know?
All distractions. Everybody says the same shit. I need a logo. I need colors. I need a website. No, you need to turn on the fucking camera. This is the conversation I had with everybody last year. You need to turn on the camera and talk to it. Because if you can't talk to this repeatedly, website's irrelevant.
Okay, I got it.
Right.
These are all things that have been spoken to me in the last week. So I hear it, okay? I got it.
You know I love you. I'm proud of you for what you're doing.
Me too.
I know it's hard. I know when you want something and it's not happening as fast as you want it to. Sometimes you saw me, I was crying in the kitchen to you just a couple weeks ago. Cried to you in the bathroom multiple times over the phone. I've wanted to quit. I've wanted to give up. And every time you've told me, I feel like you're so close. So this is my first chance to tell you, I feel like you're close. Just don't stop. You can reset, refocus, and recalibrate as many times as you want. Just don't quit. This is my day. This is my new week. This is my new month. Just don't stop. And as long as you don't stop, you can't lose. I love you.
I love you too.
I know this is hard. I'm proud of you though.
I'm proud of you.
Give me a kiss. Listen, marriages can get challenging. The challenges that we're facing are very different than the challenges that we were facing just a year ago. A year ago, we were fighting each other. This year, we're fighting for something. I'm going to continue to tell all of you the same exact thing. If you and your wife or you and your husband don't share a vision, you're fucked. Your opportunity to sit down and cast what you want your marriage to look like, what you want your sex life to look like, your date life, the way you want to parent, the vacations, the experiences, the homes, the clothes, the cars, the way that you want to raise your kids, spirituality, your connection to God, all of it. Have a clear plan. Go on a date night and talk about it. Because then you guys get to fight for something with each other. This is my beautiful wife, at Lizzie Ray on Instagram. I'm at Sergio Nazaro. Listen, if you thought this was amazing, leave us a 5-star review and let us know why. If you still think that that she shouldn't have had a second child with me, like some of you have told us before, and you think this is a 1-star show, leave that too. We'd love to know. Either way, I'm Sergio. This is Lizzie Ray. Till next time, take care.
Bye.
Peace.